Power does not announce itself. It does not ask permission. It moves silently, like a knife sliding between the ribs of the unsuspecting. The ruler who warns before he strikes gives his enemies time to gather their breath, to steel their nerves, to conspire in the shadows. Mercy is not the opposite of cruelty. It is often its prelude, because a hesitation born of mercy teaches others to hesitate in fearing you. And in the theater of power, fear is not merely an instrument, it is the scaffolding upon which all authority rests. There are those who believe loyalty is born from affection, from shared ideals, from the fragile warmth of human bonds. They are mistaken. Loyalty is born of necessity, of fear sharpened to respect, of the knowledge that betrayal will cost more than obedience. Love is a sentiment, fear is a calculus. Love may bind men for a season, but fear binds them until their last breath. A ruler must understand, men obey when they cannot do otherwise. Their hearts are capricious, their tongues quick to flatter, their memories short and treacherous. Today they praise you, tomorrow they will curse your name in the alleys. Give them too much liberty, and they will take your generosity for weakness. Press them too harshly, and they will seethe, plotting vengeance in their silence. The balance is delicate, but the hand must remain firm. In politics, hesitation is a signal. To falter is to bleed in the water, and every rival is a shark. To show mercy before your strength is established invites rebellion. To speak of justice before you have secured power invites chaos. In the council chamber, in the streets, in the closed rooms where decisions are made, the ruler must be as inscrutable as a winter sea calm on the surface, concealing depths that can drown the careless. Remember this: betrayal is not an accident, it is an opportunity seized. Men betray because they calculate their odds and find you wanting, so your task is not to beg for loyalty, but to make betrayal too costly to attempt. The ruler who knows this will never be surprised when the knife comes. He will have already positioned his hand on the wrist of the would-be assassin. In this world, virtue and vice are not opposites but instruments. Use them as the sculptor uses his chisel to shape, to wound, to create. A ruler who clings to virtue for its own sake is a lamb among wolves, and wolves do not debate morality, they feed. The ruler who clings to vice without restraint is a tyrant whose fall is inevitable, for even fear has limits. The art lies in wielding both the velvet glove and the iron fist, with precision, with timing, with an eye to the theater of appearances. Do not forget, all power is a performance. The people do not see you as you are. They see what you project, what you permit them to see. They do not see the sleepless nights, the doubts, the calculations. They see the mask, and they bow to it. The wise ruler crafts his mask carefully, changing it as the winds shift, but never letting it slip. To let the mask fall is to invite the dagger. And so, never warn, only strike. The warning gives your adversary time to prepare his defenses, to call allies, to rally his strength. The strike leaves him breathless, disoriented, unable to resist. It is not cruelty, it is necessity. In a world where hesitation is fatal, speed is mercy in disguise. Men fear sudden force more than drawn-out threats. They fear what they cannot anticipate, what descends like lightning from a clear sky. The ruler who understands this does not announce his intentions. He studies, he calculates, he prepares. And when the moment comes, he acts with totality, not half measures, not faltering blows, but a single, decisive act that breaks resistance before it forms. Power is not maintained by goodwill. It is maintained by vigilance, by discipline, by the cold knowledge that every ally is a potential rival and every rival a potential corpse. This is not cynicism. It is clarity. To lead is to see the world as it is, not as one wishes it to be. The ruler who wishes to survive must accept this truth. There is no final victory, no peace without vigilance. Each day brings new conspiracies, new rivalries, new tests of will. To grow weary is to invite exile or death. To grow complacent is to summon the vultures. You are not loved for who you are tolerated for what you control. When control slips, So too does the illusion of loyalty. Learn from nature. The lion needs both claws and cunning. The fox survives by guile, the lion by strength. Alone, each is vulnerable. Together, they are invincible. The ruler who lacks cunning will be trapped. The one who lacks strength will be devoured. But the one who possesses both walks freely, feared and respected in equal measure. There is no shame in manipulation. There is only shame in being manipulated. To move men, one must understand their passions, their fears, their vanity. One must speak to their hunger for recognition, their dread of obscurity, their desire to feel part of something larger than themselves. A ruler who does not master these levers is a prisoner in his own court. To lead is to endure solitude. Few will understand the weight you carry. Fewer still will forgive you for carrying it. Do not seek understanding. Seek results. Do not seek to be loved. Seek to be obeyed. The love of the people is a fickle wind. The respect born of fear is the bedrock upon which kingdoms are built. In the end, you must choose, to act or to be acted upon. There is no middle path. The world punishes the passive, the indecisive, the ruler who hopes the storm will pass without sacrifice. To endure, you must become the storm. You must decide when and where the lightning will fall, and you must strike before they see the clouds gather. Never mistake calm for security. The silence of a people does not signal their contentment. It is often the stillness before eruption. A wise ruler learns to read the texture of quiet, to discern whether it is born of respect or of fear sharpening into hatred. Fear, if properly maintained, hardens into obedience. But if allowed to fester without purpose, it can ignite into rebellion. Authority must therefore be like a constant pressure on the neck, light enough that they breathe, firm enough that they never forget who allows them to breathe at all. There are no eternal allies, no perpetual enemies. There are only shifting interests, converging and diverging like rivers across a landscape. To cling to friendships in politics as though they are sacred is to misread the terrain. Today's confidant is tomorrow's traitor. The hand that lifts you up one season may push you into the abyss the next. A ruler's loyalty lies not in men, but in the machinery of power itself, for only that endures when faces change and banners fall. Do not imagine that treachery announces itself with fanfare. It germinates in whispers, in sidelong glances, in the slight hesitation before obedience. The wise ruler sharpens his instincts to notice these tremors. He watches not the speeches but the silences, not the open opposition but the subtle withdrawal of enthusiasm. When betrayal is suspected, act swiftly. Delay gives it time to metastasize. A single traitor removed in time saves a kingdom. Tolerated, he multiplies into a faction. To rule is to exist within a theater of masks. Your subjects, your ministers, even your allies see only what you allow them to see. Do not labor under the illusion that authenticity is a virtue. Authenticity is a liability, an indulgence of the naive. The face you wear in public must be constructed with care, because men do not follow the man, they follow the myth. Build the myth so that it becomes larger than you, so that even your enemies must acknowledge it. When you extend a hand, let it be unclear whether it offers mercy or concealment for a blade. This ambiguity protects you. Men fear what they cannot predict, and in that fear they hesitate. Their hesitation is your advantage. You do not need to crush every opponent outright. You need only ensure they doubt the wisdom of testing you. Power is never static. It breathes. It shifts. It flows to the one who seizes it. If you do not actively hold it, someone else will. And those who seek to wrest it from you will not come with banners and drums, but with smiles, with flattery, with the suggestion that they are serving your interests while undermining them. Learn to smile in return, to flatter them more skillfully, to let them believe they are safe until their usefulness expires. Then remove them cleanly, leaving no trace of their schemes but a cautionary tale for others. The ruler must also understand that ambition is not confined to palaces and ministries. It festers in the hearts of the lowliest subjects. Each man, in his way, seeks to expand his dominion over his household, his trade, his neighbors. The difference between ruler and ruled is merely the scale of that hunger. To govern effectively, you must speak to that hunger, channel it, exploit it. Give men the illusion of advancement, of influence, even as you tighten the chains that bind them. The masses are not moved by facts or principles, but by spectacle and fear. They will forgive a ruler's cruelty if it is decisive and wrapped in the language of necessity. What they will not forgive is weakness, vacillation, the perception that their leader is at the mercy of forces he cannot command. In times of crisis, act boldly. Even a flawed decision is better than none, for indecision radiates vulnerability, and vulnerability is the scent that draws predators. Your enemies will try to lure you into endless negotiations, to sap your momentum with words. Resist this trap. Talk is useful only insofar as it buys you time to prepare your next move. When the moment for action arrives, strike without warning. A sudden blow accomplishes more than 1,000 threats. It shatters alliances, terrifies rivals, and leaves no doubt that you alone control the field. Do not expect gratitude for your victories. Men are quick to forget the dangers you spared them, the conspiracies you crushed, the chaos you subdued. Their memory clings instead to the tax collected, the law enforced, the punishment meted out. This is the paradox of rule. They resent you for keeping order, yet they will tear each other apart if you relinquish control. Accept their ingratitude as part of the burden. You do not rule to be thanked. You rule to endure. There will be moments when you are tempted to trust. Resist them. Trust is the luxury of equals, and the ruler has no equals. Even those closest to you are governed by self-interest, and self-interest is a volatile currency. Instead of trust, cultivate alignment. Make it advantageous for others to support you and ruinous to oppose you. Where alignment is impossible, instill fear. Where fear is impossible, eliminate. A ruler who understands this lives in solitude, even in the midst of his court. This solitude is not a curse, but a sanctuary. It protects you from the illusions that cloud lesser minds. In solitude, you see the world as it is, a shifting battlefield where every man maneuvers for position and where sentiment is a weapon wielded as often as steel. To rule is to understand that there is no final peace, no moment of lasting rest. Even in victory, new threats germinate. Your success breeds envy. Your strength provokes challenge. The price of power is eternal vigilance, and the moment you relax your grip, you invite disaster. A kingdom does not collapse in a single day. It decays from within, one act of negligence at a time, until it crumbles at the touch of a determined foe. Therefore, live as though every day were your first on the throne and your last. Study your allies as though they were enemies, your enemies as though they were allies. Prepare for betrayal as though it were certain, for in time it always is. Build your strength quietly, strike decisively, and let your enemies learn too late that they have underestimated you. In the end, the ruler who survives is not the one who wishes to be loved, nor the one who glories in cruelty. It is the one who understands that love and cruelty are but instruments, to be used and discarded as circumstances demand. He does not revel in his power, nor shrink from its burdens. He sees clearly that power is not given, it is taken, and it is kept only by those willing to pay its price. Do not warn, do not plead, do not wait for permission. Strike. Power wears many disguises. In one era, it is a crown and a scepter. In another, it is a bank ledger, a server farm, a broadcast signal. But beneath each mask lies the same architecture, the ability to compel others to act against their instincts, to bind their wills to your design. The ruler who forgets this is not long for the world, for the trappings of authority change, but the machinery of control does not. To hold power is not merely to occupy a position. It is to be the fulcrum on which the destinies of others turn. It is to stand where ambition, fear, and envy converge like rivers flooding a plain. Each man approaching you brings his own current, seeking to pull you under or ride your strength to his own advantage. To survive, you must become the high ground unassailable, immovable, forcing the waters to break and scatter. Men will come to you wearing masks of loyalty, eyes lowered, voices softened, professing their devotion. These are the most dangerous of all. The open enemy clarifies your purpose. The hidden adversary undermines it. Watch closely for the small signs. The delayed compliance, the too careful agreement, the absence of zeal in their service. Do not confront them at once. Let them believe their performance succeeds. Let them weave their web until you know every thread, then tear it away in a single motion, so sudden they have no time to beg. The ruler must master the rhythm of force and restraint. Unchecked force breeds rebellion. Unchecked restraint breeds contempt. Too much leniency, and men lose their fear. Too much cruelty, and they lose their respect. Balance is not found in hesitation, but in timing. Strike when they expect mercy. Show mercy when they brace for the blade. This unpredictability keeps them off balance, trapped in your shadow, their calculations never aligning against you. A ruler's weakness is not measured in sentiment, but in visibility. When men see the limits of your reach, when they sense the boundaries of your will, they begin to test them. Each test emboldens the next, and soon the walls you thought impregnable are riddled with cracks. Therefore, let your reach seem infinite, your will inexhaustible. Let rumors of your decisiveness precede you. A reputation for action is worth more than any fortress. To manipulate others, you must first master yourself. The ruler who is enslaved by anger or desire is easily led, for his adversaries need only stoke these flames to control him. Discipline is not a matter of suppressing emotions, but of turning them into instruments. Anger, when restrained, becomes intimidation. Desire, when channeled, becomes ambition. Let nothing in you be so exposed that it can be used as a lever. Appearances are the currency of rule. Men judge by what they see, not by what you intend. You may have the purest motives, but if your face betrays uncertainty, they will doubt you. If your posture wavers, they will sense weakness. So cultivate your bearing as you would an army. Let your words be few but weighted. Let your silences speak louder than your proclamations. A ruler who talks too much invites contradiction. One who listens but reveals little commands fear and fascination in equal measure. You will be tempted to govern through love, to seek the affection of your subjects. Resist this temptation. Affection is fleeting, a fire that burns hot but dies with the first gust of misfortune. Fear, if built carefully, endures. It is not terror that sustains power. Terror burns too brightly and consumes itself. It is a colder fear, the kind that resides in the gut, that makes men weigh the cost of defiance and decide it is too high. Betrayal often comes not from your enemies, but from those you elevated. Gratitude does not bind men. Ambition does. The one you lift too high begins to imagine himself your equal, and equality is the seed of insurrection. To prevent this, ensure that those around you remain dependent. Let no minister, no general, no confidant possess the resources to stand alone. Divide their interests so they watch each other, not you. Do not imagine that you can rest once your throne is secured. The moment you believe yourself safe, you are most vulnerable. Enemies grow in the shadows, nurtured by the complacency of power. They feed on your victories, learning your patterns, waiting for your guard to drop. The ruler who endures is the one who governs, as though every day were his first, every challenge his final test. Learn to see beyond the immediate conflict. A minor insult need not provoke a war. A minor victory may conceal a trap. Patience is as vital as decisiveness. There are times when action is strength, and times when inaction is mastery. The difference lies in foresight. Anticipate the ripple of every decision. A ruler who acts without thinking becomes a pawn in another's game. Power is a living thing. It must be fed, cultivated, defended. It is not a possession, but a state of motion. The moment you stand still, you are no longer ruling, you are waiting to be ruled. There is no shame in this reality, only necessity. To pretend the world is otherwise is to prepare your own undoing. Never reveal the whole of yourself. Men crave certainty, but they respect mystery. When they believe they fully understand you, they cease to fear you. Keep some part of your mind veiled, your intentions layered. Let them wonder whether your silence conceals approval or judgment, whether your smile promises reward or warns of danger. This ambiguity is a weapon sharper than any sword. And remember, you do not strike to punish, you strike to instruct. Each act of force should serve as a lesson, not only to the offender, but to all who watch. Punishment is wasted if it does not echo in the minds of the witnesses, shaping their future choices. A ruler's cruelty, if it is necessary, must be theatrical, swift, decisive, and designed to endure in memory. Do not seek immortality in monuments or statues. Seek it in the continuity of your rule, in the systems you build that outlive you. Monuments can be toppled, systems endure. A ruler who relies on his own presence alone rules a single lifetime. One who embeds his will into the institutions of power rules across generations. In all things, be deliberate. Let no act seem accidental, no word spoken in haste. Even your errors, if presented with confidence, can appear as strategy. The ruler who stumbles yet acts as though he intended to fall confounds his enemies. Control the narrative, and you control the perception of your strength. This is the final truth. There is no place for innocence in rule. You may mourn it in private, but you cannot govern with clean hands. To lead is to command is to impose, and to impose is to injure. The wise ruler does not flinch from this. He understands that every law is a blade, every decree a boundary enforced by the threat of force. So do not warn. Warnings are wasted on those who plot against you. They hear them as weakness, as an invitation to accelerate their treachery. Instead, let your silence lull them, your inaction deceive them. Then strike, so swiftly and completely that no recovery is possible. A ruler's legacy is not measured in how he ascended, but in how long he endured. Endurance is the only proof of mastery. All else is vanity. Power never dies. It changes hands. Those who mistake its stillness for extinction are swept aside when it surges again in another form, in another name. To understand this is to understand survival. You are not a guardian of order. You are its architect, its manipulator, its necessary tyrant. The state exists because you impose shape on chaos, and if you falter, chaos reclaims what you built. Never imagine that your rivals rest. While you sit in comfort, they count your weaknesses. They probe your borders, not always with armies, but with influence, with whispers, with trade, with the slow seep of ideas that rot the spine of a nation. The enemy today does not need to march. He infects, persuades, corrupts. A ruler who does not see this is no ruler at all, only a caretaker for the one who will replace him. Do not fear to be ruthless in your vigilance. To wait for proof of conspiracy is to invite it to flourish. Signs and intentions are enough. Act upon them without hesitation. It is better to destroy one innocent man than to lose a kingdom to the guilty. Justice, as men imagine it, is a luxury of the weak. A ruler's justice is the preservation of his state, nothing more. There will be those who urge moderation, who whisper that you must not harden your hand too much lest the people revolt. These are voices of naivety or sabotage. The people do not revolt because they are oppressed. They revolt because they believe they can win. As long as they believe defiance is futile, they will endure anything. Your task is to extinguish not their lives, but their hope of victory. Break one rebellion so completely that none will dare again for a generation. The instruments of rule are not only soldiers and gold, they are illusions and dependencies. Give the people bread, but let them know you can take it away. Offer them safety, but let them see that safety comes only through you. Make them believe they are free, even as you tighten their bonds. For a man who believes himself free resists less than one who knows he is not. A ruler must master the art of absence. When you are too visible, you become familiar. When you are too familiar, you invite disdain. Appear seldom, but when you do, let your presence strike like a thunderclap. Let it remind them that their lives, their livelihoods, their peace rest upon your favor. The rest of the time, govern from the shadows. It is in darkness that the roots of power grow strongest. Fear and love are not opposites. They are tools to be applied with precision. Love softens resistance. Fear stiffens obedience. Alone, each is insufficient. Together, in balance, they make you unassailable. But remember, if one must be chosen, choose fear. Men will forgive 1,000 cruelties they cannot resist. They will not forgive a single kindness if they believe they can overthrow you. To survive, a ruler must be a mirror of his age. In times of faith, wear the robes of piety. In times of skepticism, speak the language of reason. Do not let principle trap you. Principles are weapons for those without power. For those who hold it, they are chains. Bend, adapt, transform, but never lose the core of calculation. The ruler who refuses to change with the times becomes a relic, and relics are buried. Understand that information is the battlefield of the modern age. Armies still march, but power now flows through wires and waves, through screens and networks. A word, a rumor, a well-placed lie can cripple a nation faster than 1,000 cannons. Control information, and you control perception. Control perception, and you control reality. A ruler who ignores this domain has already surrendered his throne. Your advisors are not your friends. They are instruments. Use them while they serve your purpose. Discard them when they no longer do. To grow too attached to a counselor is to hand him your power. Let no man think he is indispensable. Rotate them, replace them, remind them that their position exists only because you permit it. In this way, they will compete for your favor instead of conspiring together. Do not neglect the theater of vengeance. When a betrayal is uncovered, do not merely punish the traitor, make an example of him. Let his fall be so spectacular, so total, that it roots terror in the hearts of others. But do not indulge cruelty for its own sake. A ruler who delights in blood weakens himself, for fear must be mingled with respect, not hatred. Hatred lingers, and hatred breeds assassins. The wise ruler understands that stability requires motion. Stagnation invites decay. Movement keeps your enemies guessing. Even in peace, create the impression of action, a new law, a new campaign, a new enemy if necessary. The people must feel that you are indispensable, that without your constant effort the entire edifice would collapse. Exile teaches lessons the court cannot. When you are cast out, when your name is scorned, when former allies feast upon your ruin, you see men as they are. You see how loyalty evaporates in adversity, how friendship crumbles under pressure, how quickly they forget who lifted them from the dust. If you return from exile, return transformed. Discard any illusion of trust, any hope of affection. Let the memory of your fall sharpen your mind into a blade. Rule is not a burden for the sentimental. It is a craft, a discipline, a war fought every day against the frailty of human nature. Do not expect applause for your victories. Expect only the satisfaction of knowing you endured where others failed. Power is not granted by gods or fate. It is seized by those willing to pay its price in solitude, in sleeplessness, in blood. And when the time comes to strike, strike without prelude. Let your adversary learn of your decision only in the moment of his destruction. Warnings are gifts to the strong, and you owe your enemies nothing. The blade unseen is the blade most feared. There is no virtue in hesitation. There is no honor in restraint if restraint leads to ruin. To preserve your realm, your life, your legacy, you must learn this above all. Never warn, only strike. And when the reckoning comes for it, always comes, you will stand alone in the cold silence of your own making. You will hear no applause, no chorus of gratitude. The voices that once flattered you will have gone quiet, their smiles long faded. And yet, this silence is not emptiness. It is the sound of a world still held together by your will. Understand this. Power is not a crown you wear. It is a fire you tend. It burns in you, and it burns those who come too close. To lead is to be consumed, piece by piece, by the demands of vigilance, the weight of command, the solitude of the throne. You will not be loved for it. You may not even be remembered kindly for it, but you will endure, and endurance is victory. There is no end to this work, no final moment of peace, no closing chapter where the ruler rests easy. The day you grow tired of watching, the day you grow weary of striking, is the day your enemies gather like wolves around a dying fire. They do not care how just you were, how merciful, how brilliant. They care only that you are weak, and weakness in a ruler is a summons to their knives. So accept this truth. To lead is to fight a war without end. There are no permanent victories, only battles won and battles yet to come. You must become as relentless as the tide, as unyielding as the stone cliffs it crashes against. Those who survive are not those who wish to rule, but those who were willing to pay the full cost of survival. And when you strike, strike so completely that the memory of your blow outlives you. Strike so that your enemies' sons will whisper your name in fear, and their grandsons will hesitate before even imagining defiance. Strike not for glory, nor for revenge, but because the architecture of power allows no alternative. This is the burden. This is the curse. This is the necessity. To govern is to be the knife in the darkness, the storm on the horizon, the invisible hand that shapes the world. Never warn, never hesitate, never ask permission. Only strike,